All right, well, I've decided it's time to get a little more serious about this electronic ignition conversion. I've been kind of screwing around, I don't know, dragging my feet, but I have removed the cap and wires and pulled the plugs. I've used a hand crank to spin it up to #1 cylinder, top dead center-ish. Okay, we see our rotor, and I may even take a picture of this with my phone. This is something I should do more than I do, but anyway, the rotor is pointing at, 1 o'clock, we'll say. We could make a note of that. Just as a trivial matter, and I don't know, maybe this will change with the electronic ignition, but this tractor in particular, over its history, it will get to where it wants to run on 3 cylinders when you start it. And then after it warms up a little bit, it catches the 4th one, and that's it. It runs fine. But what I learned was that the rotor was getting dirty, and just a little touch with some Scotch-Brite solved that problem. So that wasn't anything too terrible. Anyway, I pulled all the plugs out. I thought it had NGKs in it, but turns out they're Champions. And looks like they've been in there a while. And folks, I don't hate Champion spark plugs like a lot of people do. These ACs, they seem to work fine. I know that the other 45 has NGKs in it for a fact. These were working fine. I think I've got new plugs out in the other building. When we put this back together, we'll go ahead and put some new plugs in it. I don't know if I'm smart enough to do this. We're going to go ahead and take a little picture of things. And then we'll bring our GoPro quick screen back up. Okay, so looks to me like somebody left the appropriate wrench lying on the floor. So we're going to go ahead and pull our distributor. I should mention, this is kind of a theory. I guess we'll see if it proves out or not. I got to thinking about this, and that timing floating around, I thought was play into bushing, moving laterally. And I'm not saying that it isn't for sure, but I'm starting to think that the in play, and I'll kind of get this out of here so I can show this maybe a little better. Because of the way the gear teeth are cut, I think that as that shaft is moving up and down, that could be what is causing the timing mark to float when you've got the light on it. It's not the handiest bolt to try to take out, if anybody's picked up on that. Talking to my co-worker Dave, who's really pretty savvy with engines, he mentioned the timing chain, and I had to remind him yet again, Dave, these engines don't have a timing chain. That is not the problem. I will go on record right now. The timing chain is not causing this to float around. So, all right, we've got our distributor in our hot little hand, and it has a fair amount of end play. So what we're going to do, I think, because I have water on the stove, as I'm attempting to cook lunch while we do this, my stove's such a piece of crap, you gotta give it forever to boil water. But anyway, I've got an indicator set up in the vise, I will clean up my hands a little bit, go check my cooking, and come back and we'll see how much in play this has. Okay, we're over here, we're set up in the vise. I don't know, maybe we'll try to get you hopefully that's getting a shot of the indicator. Okay, this is the distributor that came out of the tractor just a little while ago. And if we're very careful, we've got our indicator on 0. And you can see it's got right at 16 thousandths of in play. The one that's going in, I have shimmed down to about 4. And I'm going to quit there, I believe. The next little interesting tidbit, these distributors, I don't know how well you can see it. Of course, the screens went black. This is the pin that holds the gear to the shaft. And that's a special little pin. And hopefully you can see, I'm not sure what they use to smash the ends, to mushroom them so that it can't come out. That pin is still available from the AGCO dealer, folks, and bend over, it's 14 bucks. This is the one, I'm not positive how I'm going to mushroom the ends of that yet. We'll get that done. I worked on a distributor for a 45 for my cousin Doug one time, and that pin was actually sheared off, and I believe we used a roll pin to replace it. And as far as I know, that tractor would run today, but probably if it was mine, I'd pull a distributor and change that pin, because I would think the roll pin might come out of that. I got my casserole in the oven. I got myself into more cooking today than I figured on, but anyway, I'm gonna put a cap and rotor on this, probably the cap and rotor that I took off, and the wires even. I bought the new suppression core wires from Steve right here that go with the igniter. And the wires that were on it were solid core like tractors are supposed to have, so I don't know. I suppose that's about enough for right now. If I make some more progress on this, okay. I got this far yesterday. I need to get the plate installed in the distributor. I don't know that I'm going to do that on camera. We'll have to fumble around with that a little bit and see how that goes. Anyway, I'll bring you back later. All right, guys, it's finally time to get back on this electronic ignition distributor thing. I picked up a bit of a cold, so bear with me here. It's awesome. Anyway, this plate just held in with one screw, and then the peg that the points would mount on kind of locates that. You've got your 2 wires for your coil. Then you got this little grommet that goes through where the This is the block that you take out that works with your points. Anyway, see if we can do this right the first time. That would almost be unprecedented. A little bit of Mother Nature's lubricant. All right, well, get them through the hole. I think we're going to run that on just a little more. That's not too bad. And a little more of Mother Nature's lubricant. That's seated down in there. We'll get our wires set where they need to be. I tell you, there are so many shiny objects on this place that it's hard for me to get anything done, because I start innocently enough to go get something out of a different building that I think I need, and then I see something and I veer off, and an hour later I'm like, oh yeah, I was working on that distributor. Gonna have to go to work here pretty soon. Maybe we better get back to it. A couple other thoughts while the camera is rolling. I have a new gasket for there. I think that's a good thing to change while you're in here. New dust seal and a new cap and rotor. We may as well start with all new stuff, shouldn't we? The only thing left in the box, I think, I'm not sure what they call this, if that is a trigger maybe. I've done this before. And I'm gonna break from tradition and read the instructions before we mount that, because I don't remember if that is directional or not. So when I make some more progress, I'll bring you back. These wires will get shortened eventually when we get a little closer. I still have to smash that pin. Anyway, we're making progress a little slowly, a little bit. I don't like having that WD-45 sitting there not able to run, because that's a very important machine around here. I use it for everything, and it's been really nice here, and the garden won't be long, and I'll be wanting to plant turnips and radishes, and we need to get this done, and then we need to get on to other things. And I guess while we're talking, part of the reason I didn't get as much done yesterday is this showed up in the FedEx box, and I've been needing one of these for a while, and I've got some other video I shot that will get more in depth to this. I got this silly selfie stick extended, so that's giving you the crazy angles. Anyway, this was about the cheapest I could get off Amazon, and I think it'll be fine, but I'm not crazy about this bolt. They're metric, and I'm gonna size that with an American bolt so we can fill that hole up. The rest of it's probably okay. I don't know. I may even make some spacers to go in here to kind of support the bolt a little bit. Not that I'm gonna use this to try to move the world or anything, but may as well be as good as we can make it, right? Anyway, hopefully I get back to this afternoon. I don't have anything too pressing, I don't think. Well, after just a brief interlude and a quick perusal of the directions, we have our, I'm going to call it a trigger, installed. I was concerned about getting it located right, but after reading the instructions and thinking a little bit, something I probably shouldn't do, it's just going to have, and I think they're magnets, 4 equally spaced in there and to trigger it. So yeah, it just goes over the cam lobes and presses down on there, and it says you're gonna have to press hard, and they were not lying. I got a 5/8 socket and I was pushing really hard, and I thought, well, we must be seated, and then it popped and it went down about another 3/16 of an inch. So pretty sure we're good now. We need to get our, I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on our felt on our new dust seal. I should mention this because I always forget part of what I want to convey. But this little box of minutia, I about lost my mind looking for it because it's got an old breaker plate, and I mean there's stuff in there, condensers and rotors and just all kinds of ignition parts that I will probably never use because I try to stock new ones around here, but you never know what might pop up. So at any rate, I've got a number for a new, so I can go to Napa and get a new rotor, and I'll probably buy, I think that's my last new cap, so we will get those new. And I wrote down the number. This is the bag that gasket came in. I don't know. We're getting close. We're actually getting close. I need to figure out how I'm going to smash that. I think I need about 7 more hands to do this effectively, because I will probably clamp a punch or something in here and then just hammer and punch and mushroom the ends good. But I don't know how I'm gonna hold everything. It's gonna be I don't know if we're gonna film that or not. A monkey and a football come to mind. So I don't know, it's getting close for lunchtime. Not that close, but I should continue here. But the previous segment, I showed you a little bit about the cherry picker, and the biggest motivation for the cherry picker is getting the head on that 450. It will have plenty of other jobs around here, but the heads for those 4-cylinder farm-alls are excuse me, really heavy, so that will make it a lot easier to set that on there. I've got some other video I shot the other day of potential projects that I'll try to get posted one of these days. Hopefully somebody will leave me a comment like, well, you're absolutely insane, you don't need to do that, but welcome to my life. So anyway, that's all for now. Well, we're making progress. I didn't know how this was going to go. I would hold the distributor up to the camera, but it will be next to impossible for you to discern any difference from what it has been. But this is basically what I've come up with for doing this. Is I've got my punch in the vise, and then I just set that on there and hold that, and then give it a good smack. And our pin is getting shorter. It's not going to look all fancy like the factory. As long as it doesn't come out, that's my only concern. Both ends are mushrooming, so that's, I don't know how far to pursue this. I'm not probably going to be able to get it as flat as the factory. suppose if a guy wanted to, he could file those off a little bit and keep smashing them flatter. I'm just gonna hit it a few more times on each side and probably call it good. It's not looking too bad. After ponying up the 14 bucks for this pin, it dawned on me that I could probably do this with 1/8 inch drill rod, because I have done that with other things, mostly in the steering on these 45s. But I don't know, that stuff's not as malleable. It might be worth the $14, I guess, to do this right. We're getting really close here. I don't know, I'll hit it another time or two. Pretty sure it ain't gonna come back out anytime soon without filing the head off, and hopefully we never have to worry about that. We're good, and whoever buys this tractor at my estate auction gets a nice machine. I guess that would make me about as happy as anything. People come to the sale and say, "God, that guy really took care of his stuff." I'm going to quit there. And we're getting ever closer to lunchtime. I am hungry. So, I don't know, I might call this a video and then do the reassembly in a separate one. So, thanks for watching.